Inside.
For clothes that twist and long. Bold 3 Detergent Plus Fabric Softener.
The 2000s was a turning point for television. It was no longer about background noise or something to flip through before bed. TV became appointment viewing, bold, serialized, morally complex, and character-driven. These shows weren't just here to entertain, they were here to reshape the medium. Lost, Breaking Bad, Dexter, and The Walking Dead. These shows didn't just reshape TV forever, but it also changed what a TV show could be defined as. I'm going to go over the big 4 2000 shows I've seen in order from when I watched them, and I'll give you my thoughts. Also, this video will be mostly spoiler free, so you don't have to worry about clicking off. I mean, again, there will be some plot points mentioned, but it'll be low-key, don't worry. Dexter. Dexter is a show about a serial killer, Dexter Morgan, who works for the Miami Police Department. But he's not just any serial killer. He's a serial killer who only kills bad guys and murderers. And one single pedophile. His adoptive father, Harry, taught him a moral code to follow. Most of the series run, you're on the edge of your seat watching Dexter almost get caught. Then there's also these parts where it slows down and you see Dexter's cold, soulless serial killer facade fade away for his girlfriend Rita. Every season of the show has a main killer, and Dexter kills a bunch of small, like, I'm not saying smaller like size-wise, but he starts killing smaller killers throughout the series as well, like not less important killers. Yeah, alongside Dexter is his sister Deb. Deborah starts off as a cop working in the same police department as Dexter does. A lot of the time she gets into a lot of serious trouble that Dexter has to get her out of without blowing his cover. Dexter was one of the first serious TV shows I actually sat down and watched the entirety of, and Dexter is a fantastic show for the most part. It takes a nosedive halfway through the series. It gets bad, but never unwatchable. The characters just make some weird decisions, that's for sure. The writing jumps the shark at some times, but overall, it stays a fun show to watch. Actually, if any of you out there have seen the anime Death Note, it has a lot of similarities. It would be right up your alley if you like Death Note. And if you haven't watched Death Note, but you've watched Dexter, I definitely recommend Death Note. And it's a good anime to watch if you've never seen an anime before. It's a fun show, and I recommend it, it's good. More similarities between Dexter and Death Note is that both protagonists are killers who start their murder spree at a young age. Dexter and Light both have fathers in the police department. Both Dexter and Light kill in the name of justice and morality. Both Dexter and Light end up dating a hot blonde baddie, and if you watch Dexter, I definitely recommend Death Note. It's a good anime to watch. Just watch it. Dexter isn't too gory or horrifying to watch, and at some points it's very funny. A lot of the things Dexter does to avoid getting caught are very slapstick and cartoonish at times. Dexter also has a few spin-off shows. There's a sequel series called Dexter New Blood that continues right after the end of the original series, and Dexter Original Sin, which is a prequel / origin story to the original TV show. And I believe they're making another spin-off called Dexter Resurrection. I believe it actually just came out as I'm filming this right now. I haven't seen it, but you know, the other spin-offs seem to be actually pretty decent. So if you end up liking Dexter and you want to see more, I would definitely recommend the sequels as well. They're not fantastic, they're not as good as the original show. There's some parts about the new shows that are better than the original series' low points for sure, but I don't think it reaches the same highs as the original series does. Regardless, I recommend Dexter. I think it's a fantastic show. Watch it. If you end up not liking it, leave a comment down below. Do I even have to say Breaking Bad is a good show? Do I even have to say it's a great show? I mean, shit, you've probably seen more Breaking Bad from memes than any other live-action show. Breaking Bad is about a high school chemistry teacher, Walter White, who gets diagnosed with cancer. In a desperate attempt to set his family's financial issues straight, he ends up resorting to cooking meth. And he ends up cooking meth with one of his failed high school students, Jesse Pinkman. Walter and Jesse set up a lab inside an RV, and they start slinging meth to some shady people, eventually changing their recipe. And the color of the meth they end up making changes to an iconic blue color. One way I could describe Breaking Bad best is that everything and everyone goes through changes. You watch Walter White go from this timid high school teacher to Scarface, and so much more. Breaking Bad is similar to Dexter in the sense that both protagonists are doing horrific crimes and trying to cover it up to keep their normal life afloat. Unlike Dexter, Breaking Bad never becomes bad. The show stays very consistent throughout its run, if not elevating every single moment it can. The only criticism I can really say is that Season 5 is a little bit boring at the start, but when shit starts going down, it goes down. And just like Dexter, it has its spin-off shows. El Camino is a very good movie that takes place right after Breaking Bad, and I've heard very good things about Better Call Saul, but I have not heard a single good thing about Slippin' Jimmy. Why is Slippin' Jimmy bad? Justice for Slippin' Jimmy. The Walking Dead is a show about Rick Grimes, a police officer waking up from a coma to find that the world is overrun by zombies, which they call walkers. Rick Grimes ends up finding his family and a group of survivors to go through the wasteland trying to survive with. Rick ends up becoming the leader of their group. As more and more of them get picked off by zombies, new people are added to the cast to replace the old ones. Then the show ends up taking this drastic turn. Zombies aren't the thing to be scared of anymore. It ends up being other survivors. There's not much more I need to say other than the fact it's a really good show. Up until it's not. If you think Dexter took a nosedive, then boy, you're in for a shock. The Walking Dead had its ups and downs all the way until around season 7-ish, but for the most part it was still pretty enjoyable. I really couldn't get myself to continue to watch after season 7. It took a lot out of me because the show was making bad decisions. I didn't stop watching because my favorite character died. I stopped watching because the show became boring. I don't know how many times I can watch the same thing happen over and over and over again. Not only did the show get stale, but it also became tonally inconsistent. It went from a very grounded show about a zombie apocalypse to some sort of comic book. And don't take that as me dissing on the comics, because the Walking Dead show is actually based on comics. And those comics end up having a way better story than the show ends up having. The show just became goofy. I don't know how to describe it. Oh my god, it's hard to read with this one eye, by the way. The show just became goofy. I don't know how to describe it other than that. If you want to watch it, go ahead, but don't waste your time trying to power through it if you end up not enjoying it as much. Just like Breaking Bad and Dexter, the show has spin-offs, but it has way too many spin-offs. If you wanted to watch all The Walking Dead, you would have to watch The Walking Dead, which is still ongoing, I think, Fear the Walking Dead, which also might be still ongoing, Tales of the Walking Dead, The Walking Dead World Beyond, Walking Dead Dead City, Walking Dead The Ones Who Live, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon.
It's whenever you're put to the test. Stop acting like you know the way ahead, like you know the rules. There are no rules, man. We're lost.
No, man. Lost is a show about a huge ensemble cast of characters in an airplane crashing on an island. They have to learn to work together to survive. But unlike any other stranded on an island type show, they start immediately hearing strange noises coming from the jungle. The show continues to add more and more mysteries, like a polar bear and a weird hatch. I don't really want to spoil the show because I really think it's worth a try. But some of the downsides of the show would have to be that there's a lot of filler, and I mean a lot of filler. You get to learn about the background stories of some of the people who have been stranded on this island, and some of their background stories to me aren't that interesting. But it is kind of cool because you end up finding out throughout these background stories that these characters are kind of lost in their own life before they were lost on an island. The show constantly shows off these big mysteries, which is what makes the show so fun and addicting to watch. Makes your head go crazy trying to figure out what's going on. And that's the huge thing that's super fun about Lost. Another downside is that it jumps the shark like crazy. It doesn't end up becoming as unwatchable as The Walking Dead, in my opinion. I still watched Lost all the way through. Despite the flaws, despite, the show jumping the shark, despite the plot becoming a little inflated at times, I would still definitely recommend it. I really want people to watch this show. Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, and Dexter have been getting a lot of attention recently, and I really feel like Lost hasn't. And unlike the other shows I've talked about thus far, I have not mentioned a single character's name in Lost. And I don't think I really need to. The fun of the show is also learning about these characters. There's so many, and it's really fun to get kind of attached to these characters and trying to think about, coming up with theories on what's going to happen next and all that. I know I reviewed these shows kind of out of order from when they were released, but Lost was kind of the first big show like this. Before Lost, most TV was kind of whatever. You can miss an episode or two, still enjoy the show for the most part, but Lost started this domino effect where TV became movies. TV became stories, TV became journeys. Without Lost, we wouldn't have shows like Dexter or The Walking Dead, which, sure, they all have their flaws, but all of these are fantastic shows that are very, very memorable, and you have to give them a shit ton of credit because we wouldn't have the Netflix binging stuff that we have these days. So maybe instead of watching Cake Boss or Big Mouth, give one of these shows a try. Thank you for watching, and go check out One Zone Haven on tour. If you live in any of these areas, go check them out. And peace. So my package from Dubby just arrived. Let's go check it out. Whoa! We got a Dubby cup, and we got a Dubby. We got the Dub sludge flavor, dude. I'm gonna get a field day out of trying that out. And then we got the Dragonade, and then we got the Beach and Peach flavor. We got some instructions as well. There's a free shaker. Oh shit, there's a code on there.
I'll take it.
What's up, gamers? Trying to catch that dub in your favorite video game, but you're lacking the energy? That's why you need to try Dubby. Dubby is a energy drink brand. We're gonna be trying the Peach and Beach flavor. Oh, that's actually really delicious. And that's my first time trying it. So if you want to try some, if you want to support me, go to dubby.gg and use code Garrett641, all caps, 2 R's, 2 T's.
Ding doink, you're my favorite coin. Want you to dink on my face, take a doink on my chest. Yeah, yeah. Ding doink, you're my favorite coin. Why don't you come on over? Take pictures of my feet.